bastards. Can I say that here? Is that all right? To watch them steal this in broad daylight, and if they think they're going to get away with it, they messed with the wrong bitch, okay?
Hi, how's everybody doing today? My name is Ty with Ride IQ. Thank you for joining me today. And yes, that was Kari Lake, the fighter from Arizona, over there turning over tables and making Arizonians proud. Kari Lake is a fighter that you want in your corner. It could be a lot worse. You could live over here in California with me and have Gavin Newsom in your corner, in which case you might as well just tap out. I believe that there were five cases that Kari Lake presented to the judge. Three of them got thrown out, and two of them went forward. I don't know if she's going to win the battle, but I'm fairly sure that she's going to win the war. She's been extremely vocal about these cases over there in Arizona, and so let's go ahead and find out a little bit about what she has to say about these pending cases.
But we are going to be putting Stephen Richer on the stand and Bill Gates, by the way, and those are the two that ran Maricopa County. So look to what they have to say under oath, but also look to what our experts have to say about this roughly 300,000 ballots that have no chain of custody. These are illegal to be counted with there's no chain of custody. And look to what Clay Parikh, our expert, our cyber expert, has to say. Keep an eye on them, and I think what we're going to see is some really shocking evidence in here and how our elections are run. You talked we only had a few weeks to plan or to put this case together. That's right. And that's what they count on when they're rigging elections, that people aren't going to take the effort to do it. It's very involved. It's very expensive. It takes a lot of energy and work. And they just count on nobody calling them out for what they're doing. And that ends right now. Our case is going to court, and Abe Hamadeh's case is going to court. And I think this is a real turning point for America in getting free, fair, honest, and transparent elections finally.
Yes, there's definitely some shenanigans going over there in the election system of Arizona. Frankly, it's going on all across the U.S. But Kari Lake is the only one that's been able to pierce the veil of the court system to get this case in front of a judge, and the exposure that this case has provided is going to cause a lot of people who believed in the court system, believed in the process, to kind of start questioning it. And once they start questioning it, they're going to ask themselves, okay, well, if this was happening over in Arizona, could this be happening in Pennsylvania? Could this be happening in Georgia? Could this be happening in California? And I'm pretty sure the answer is yes. But we've got to pierce the veil first, and Kari Lake has done that. Now, there's a few things that they've exposed since they have started this process. One of the things that they've exposed is there has been no chain of custody on a lot of these ballots. They're talking about 300,000 ballots that have absolutely no chain of custody on them. I'm no genius, I'm no math whiz, but I can pretty much tell you that 300,000 would, if you minus those 300,000 out of the total, Kari Lake would have won handily.
We totally learned yesterday from Stephen Richter, the Maricopa County reporter, that there is no legitimate chain of custody. And this is required by law. You know, the truth is, I'm sick and tired of these people saying, oh, well, we just didn't dot our I's and cross our T's and it's all good. No. What we have here is a situation that is completely ripe for fraud. We have over 300,000 ballots. We don't know where they came from. Where did ballots come from? They could have been produced by the cartel for all we know.
See, I know, you may be thinking, Ty, this is Floyd's opinion. He's not under oath. He's not in that court system. What difference does it make what he says? I understand that. I understand why you feel like that. But let me show you this.
When the ballots were received back from the drop boxes. And her concern was that specifically the seals were being removed from the transport containers, and the ballots inside were not counted. That was a requirement as she understood it, and the fact that they were just taking those ballots out of the transport containers without counting them was her primary concern.
And then, okay, so we have two different people you have spoken to working in two different places, correct?
Correct.
One's here at Runbeck, the third-party vendor, and one's here at McTech, right?
Correct.
MC Tech?
Mhm.
All right. And both of them are both telling you that there is no chain of custody on Election Day for ballots being transported from MC Tech to Runbeck. Is that correct?
Correct. They weren't following the legal requirements for chain of custody. So there were seals on the containers when they transported them, but the specific issues were that they were just cutting them open, taking the ballots out, putting them in trays without regard to how many, and there was no documentation. There were handbags and purses where they were processing the ballots.
There you go. She was under oath, under penalty of perjury. She gave her statement. And this thing was run so horribly, a fifth grader could have run it better. There was so much chaos that you would think that it was almost planned that way, Katie. You see, the thing is, that wasn't the only problem in this election. They were printing out ballots, 19-inch ballots on 20-inch paper. So then when they ran it through the scanners, it wouldn't read properly. Now, I don't know, was this only done on Republican ballots or was it done on Democrat ballots too? Because it seems to me like the Democrat ballots seem to go through okay. Here's an example I have for you. Take a look at this.
Which one's been working better? Which one's working better?
One's as bad as the other.
Yeah, I thought so.
Choose your poison. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, doesn't like it already.
Oh,
Keep pushing, it'll grab it, yeah.
nope.
Can I come over here now?
It does that.
It's never going to go through, is it?
His just did. Try and pray it.
Oh, really? It didn't work here and it did there?
No, it worked here first time.
Probably voted for the wrong person.
Oh, no. That's not the way it works. You can put it in here, it'll be counted tonight.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, but you can't do filming in here?
Sure. Yeah, go ahead and just put it in that slot right there. We'll get to it later. Don't worry, you can trust us. We'll take care of you. Yeah, no. See, here's the problem. The problem is that when they tested this equipment the night before, everything passed with flying colors, no glitches, everything was perfect. And then the next morning when they were preparing for the election, the programmers went in there and did some programming things, whatever programming guys do. They go in there and start programming things, and then all of a sudden, they start printing ballots off on, 19-inch ballots on a 20-inch piece of paper. When it's supposed to be a 20-inch ballot on a 20-inch piece of paper. Because if it's not, the scanner can't read it. And then it goes to adjudication, in which case somebody else, who knows, one of Katie Hobbs' people maybe, goes through there and looks at the ballot to determine what everybody voted for. And I have a little bit of a problem with this because one of the gentlemen that testified, he went in there and basically said nothing about that. Everything was perfect. I don't know what these guys are talking about. And then they had to come in the next day. The attorneys must have got to him and said, hey, look, you got to do some damage control. So we're going to send you back in there, put you on the stand, and you're going to clarify the issue. In which case, he talks about how there was problems with the scanners and the ballots, how they printed out and everything like that. But there was no need to talk to anybody about it because we're looking into it. Go ahead and take a look at this.
Is there any documentation of any inquiry about this fit to print issue?
I don't know if there's any documentation.
So you said you performed a root cause analysis to determine how these problems arose on Election Day?
We're in the process of performing a root cause analysis.
And as part of that root cause analysis, you determined that there was this fit to print issue in 3 locations, correct?
That's correct.
And again, you did not mention this in your testimony yesterday, did you?
I did not.
Did you publish anywhere that there was this shrink to fit issue after the election?
We've not.
So you didn't tell the public, hey, we've discovered, I mean, you're performing a root cause analysis and you find out that there was this shrink to fit issue that gave rise to problems in the tabulators, and you did not inform the public about this.
We're still in the process of our root cause analysis.
What's everybody worried about? He's on the case. He is investigating himself, and he will get to the bottom of it. I'm sure of it. But this couldn't have really caused any major problems. I mean, we shouldn't even be really questioning the election because of this, should we?
You've heard previous testimony. Were you here for Mr. Jarrett's testimony?
Yes, sir, I was.
And did you hear Mr. Jarrett testify that in the November 2022 general election, a 20-inch ballot was used?
Yes, sir, I did.
Would a 19-inch ballot image projected on a 20-inch piece of paper used in the election in Maricopa for November 2022 have when it was placed into one of these vote center tabulators?
It would cause it to be rejected.
Whoa, 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 calm down. Rejected does not mean it's thrown in the trash. I mean, it doesn't mean it's thrown in the trash. All that means is that they're going to give it to somebody else and they're going to adjudicate it, which means that they're going to determine what you meant by what you put on that ballot. Meaning, like, did you vote for this person? Is the signature authentic? You know, but don't worry, it's not going in the trash. And it really didn't have any impact on the election. So I don't even know why we're talking about this, right? I mean, adjudication, that's part of the process. I mean, who cares? I mean, even if 100% of the Republicans went through an adjudication, that's not really a big deal, is it? I don't think so. I mean, it didn't have any real impact on the election, or did it?
Mr. Olson, in my professional opinion, and some of this is not opinion, we know the vote totals in these areas that we're talking about. We know what the margins were. In my opinion, in my professional opinion, this did have an impact on the it definitely impacted the outcome. The only question for me is whether it had the potential to change the result. And in my opinion, in my professional opinion, I believe it did have that. It was substantial enough to change the leaderboard. It was.
So it kind of sounds like you're telling me that, I don't know, a lack of chain of custody on over 300,000 ballots is kind of an issue. And, you know, Shrinkgate, that's probably a little bit of an issue also. Not to mention, you know, 2 or 3 hour lines wrapping around buildings in all the elements. This problem, yeah, that probably caused a problem too. And yeah, don't forget, they weren't checking people out of the polling places properly so that they could go to another polling place and get their vote counted there. That's kind of a problem too. And the list goes on. I mean, it's very obvious to anybody with one eye that this was a fraudulent election. I don't know how you could say it any way different. And I thank Kari Lake for putting herself out there and fighting like the fighter that she is. She's fighting like Donald Trump, and you know what? That's great. We need Arizona to be red. We need to have this stuff exposed. And if she's able to crack this nut in Arizona, then it opens the door for us to examine the rest of the United States, like Pennsylvania, Georgia. What about 2020? You think the same thing didn't happen in 2020? See, in 2016, they were so blindsided by Trump becoming president and squeezing past their process that in 2020, when 2020 came, they decided they were going to pull out all the stops and make sure that somebody like Donald Trump never got elected again because they know better than you. But Kari Lake is a fighter, and she's not going to take this sitting down.
This is about restoring faith in our elections. You talked about COVID. You talked about what's being revealed. It was all there to really destroy a president, bring down President Trump, and lead to the issues that led to the 2020 rigged election. Nothing was done about it. Very little was done to fix any of the problems that we saw in 2020. And now we get 2022 and it's even worse. It's all of the same stuff they pulled in 2020. And then they went above and beyond on that, Steve. We have whistleblowers that we have in our on our lawsuit, pardon me, that say just about 300,000 illegal votes with no chain of custody were run through the system. We believe more than 130,000 votes are possibly have terrible voter, verification and shouldn't have been counted. We have whistleblowers who were part of that signature verification who said every day they were churning out tens of thousands of ballots that should not have even been in the system. They had fake or no signatures or scribbles, but they were somehow pushed through by somebody in the verification process.
Look, I don't know how this is all going to turn out. She might win her case. She may not win. And if she doesn't win, that's okay. She has the right to appeal that. She says she's willing to take it all the way to the Supreme Court. And I believe her. But if nothing else, she has exposed these people for who they really are. And that's what's important. See, when we all stand up together as one, our voices are so much louder. And Kari Lake is giving us the tools that we need to be able to stand up and be loud. These elections have such an impact on our future, our economy, our social system. It's very important that we get this right. If everything else goes wrong, that is the one thing that we have that can correct the path that we're on. That is the right that is the most important, our right to vote. And that's being stolen from us. And Kari Lake is going to do her best to get it back. Thank you, Kari Lake. Now, thank you for watching. I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me today. Please like and subscribe. Tell all of your friends about this channel. And I will see you on the next video. Thank you for watching this video. Ride IQ is a new channel, so please like, subscribe, and share this video with all of your friends because we have to support each other if we're going to win this battle. And if you agree or disagree, please leave your comments below so that we can have that discussion together. And I'll see you on the next video.